Hello and welcome back to Dukascopy TV. Our focus today is on Turkey. The country's currency, the lira, was at a two-week low last week amidst pressure on the central bank from Prime Minister Recep Erdogan to cut interest rates. And it's not far off until the presidential elections take centre stage in August. Well, joining me on the line is a man who has just come back from Turkey, Marcus Svedberg, Chief Economist at East Capital. Marcus, welcome. First off, let's look at what the European elections brought Turkey. Whilst you were there, did you get the feeling the country was happy with the results?
Well, I don't think Turkey is particularly happy about the result. I mean, this was a clear win for far-right parties in Europe, and many of these parties are quite nationalistic, skeptic about further EU enlargement and so on. But I'm not so sure that Turkey cares all that much any longer. The EU accession process have been stalled for many years now, and Turkey has been frustrated with the EU for a long time because they feel like the process has been too slow and too hesitant. So it's not good news for Turkey's EU accession, but it was already delayed and off track.
From an economic perspective, what could the rise of anti-Euro parties like Britain's UKIP or France's far-right party, the National Front, mean for Recep Erdogan's government?
I don't think it means all that much because, there is trade between Turkey and EU, and any eventual membership would still be 10 years down the road or something like that. And then, we will have new elections in Europe before that will happen. But, the two countries, Turkey and EU still trades a lot with each other, and that trade is increasing, and I think that will continue to increase regardless of what happens in the European Parliament. So I wouldn't, exaggerate the importance of the negative aspects for the Turkish economy.
Now, this year is a busy one for elections in Turkey, but amidst accusations of corruption between the two main parties, what could the outcome of the presidential elections in August mean for the country in economic terms?
Yeah, interestingly enough, the corruption allegations against the government party, the AK party, started around Christmas and kept going on for about 3 months, leading up to the local elections, which the prime minister turned into a referendum on himself, and actually managed to win a very strong victory. Even after, all this negative publicity. So it just shows how strong and how dominating this party and the prime minister in particular is. And we don't know who will run for president, but most, as I said, the consensus, and I agree with that, is that Prime Minister Erdogan will run for president, and he will win very easily. Partly because he is very popular, but also because the opposition hasn't managed to renew themselves and offer a clear alternative. So I think it's more or less a done deal that Erdogan will become the new president.
Are you optimistic about the state of Turkey's finances in Europe at the moment?
If you're looking on the economy and financing, it's looking better now than only a few months ago. The Turkish economy has showed a relatively good performance in the beginning of this year. And if there was a lot of concern about tapering last year, and Turkey is vulnerable to external financing, but that has improved, and especially if the ECB will, as it's expected by the market, launch a stimulus program, rate cuts, but also perhaps an LTRO or something like that. That would benefit markets like Turkey. So in the very short term, the economy looks fine. There's still an inflation problem, but the central bank seems to be not too concerned as they cut the rate by 50 bips last week. So in the very short term, the economy looks fine, and the financing will not be a major problem this year.
Now, finally, an article I recently read described 2014 as the year of Turkey's destiny. I appreciate you may not have read that article, but in what sense do you think it meant?
Well, I think that, with all these elections, and there is a lot of discussion in Turkey, which is different from the discussion about Turkey outside Turkey, and that is that the current government and Erdogan and his team has been in power for 10 years, have done a lot of good things for the Turkish economy. But there is a growing awareness or concerns about authoritarianism. And if Erdogan becomes the first popularly elected president, previously it was nominated by the parliament, there is a concern that this authoritarian tendencies will increase. And so in that sense, what road will Turkey take in terms of democratic maturity? It is an important year. It's not only election year. It's if you want a super election year, which could determine where Turkey is heading for the medium term.
Okay, thank you for joining me today, Markus Svedberg from East Capital. Don't forget, you can keep up to date with all our interviews by clicking back to the homepage. I'll be back tomorrow, but for now, bye-bye.